Should there be another team in the WPL? Is it time for a CSK-MI rivalry in the women's game? Or Sunrisers? Is it time for your sun to start shining on the women's game? Here is my 11, if there were a sixth team, perhaps a CSK or a Sunrisers team, and of course my review of the 5 teams that will go at it for this WPL next year, 2026. Now I'm going to start off with probably one of the biggest snubs. By the way, yeah, guys, this is my 11 or 12 players that I would pick if there was going to be another team. The first one is Elise Healy. Now, only 2 teams really had the budget to, I think, really go for her. And that's, you know, Gujarat and UP Warriors. Both of them decided to go a different route. You can kind of see that. I mean, we'll talk about it when we talk about their teams. But look, if Elise goes and she's one of the top 5 run scorers in next year's T20 World Cup, I think we can trace that back to this moment here. So she will come back and she will fight, but she is my captain. And then I'm also going to add Heather Knight in there for solidity in that top 4, which does open it up to bring in some young Indian talent. Vrinda Dinesh is another player that I was quite shocked. I mean, me and my one friend spoke a lot about her. She's in fine domestic form. She was not picked up. Some of the big hitters there, Thakur, you know, Kumari. Magana has also been pretty decent, you know, so she'll be at the top there with Elise Healy. But with that stability, because what you will then need is you will need Elise and Heather, either one of them, to really take the match deep, take it to the end, one of them to bat through. And that would, in the end, free up some of these big hitters, a young talent like Vrinda Dinesh. But that's kind of my top 6, top 7. Now, you can see I've got Anneri Derksen in there. Now, I don't think she made it into the auction. A player for the future, a fantastic striker of the ball. I think she's going to be huge in a couple of years' time. Alice Capsey, a couple of people are surprised. But, you know, then I went to go and look at some of the stats. Great strike rate, 116, very decent. But an average of only 19.5. So maybe teams are looking at a bit of consistency there. I mean, you know, the pool for the international players is absolutely very competitive. And maybe that's the one area where she fell short. But if I'm not going to go that route and I don't pick either one of them, it does open up the field for an attacking fast bowler, power play bowlers in the likes of a Darcy Brown. And I really, really, really loved what I saw from Marufa Akhtar. I think that's a player, you want to get her into your setup now, because I do think in a few years' time, she could very well be one of the leading power play wicket takers in the world. She is that good. She's got that X-factor feel about her. Now we're going to give her a bit of left arm quick partnership there. You know I love the variety of right arm, left arm quicks. Guys, the one problem with my lineup here, but I think it's a problem with all of the lineups, even when I went through the list while I was doing the mock auction with Ravichandran Ashwin, was the fact that there's not a lot of left-handed batter options. So if you know of a couple of players that I missed here, please throw them in here so that we can have a look at them. We can follow their careers a bit. But it's an area that I do feel that a lot of teams, it's not an area that they can plug really, because there's just not enough players out there. But what you then do is that opens up another area, the area where there's going to be a lot of right-handed batters in every team, which means you would want a very solid left-arm spin attack. So I'm going for the double here, led by Alana King. Look, guys, a nightmare for me that I'm probably going to have to think about when there's the next World Cup. But how Alana King bowled to all of my South African right-handed batters, that is nightmarish. Okay, that was hectic, absolutely hectic. And I think, is Lindsay Smith also a left arm spin? She also did the exact same thing. So I think left arm spin will have a role to play. So I'm going in there with a double. So that's my team. Look, obviously, you know, maybe a couple of tweaks here or there. Let me know what your tweaks are. But this is my team. If there's a sixth team to be in the WPL, then this is kind of the route that I would go. Let's start off with RCB when it comes to the reviewing. Now, guys, I gotta say, didn't have such a big purse, but they managed to get a hell of a lot done. I mean, I'm just going to go through some of these players. Georgia Vall at the top with Smriti Mandana. That is a serious opening pair. They managed to get the right left-hand combination. I mean, I think they're going to complement each other really well. Then you've got Elise Perry in there. I just spoke about the left arm spin, how I think it's going to play a big part in this tournament. And what do you know? Lindsay Smith, Rada Yadav. Rada Yadav was in my team when I did the mock auction. Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot to say here. Then you've got Risha Ghosh, Nadine de Klerk, probably two of the biggest hitters, finishers in the game right now. Nadine de Klerk is having a good time over there at the WBBL. You know, they got Hemalata was another name that my friend spoke about quite often. And Pooja Vastrakar, you know, such a talented player. So I think with the amount of purse that they had and the team that they were able to assemble, I do think, and then Lauren Bell, you know, I'm not sure what they're going to do here in terms of who they're going to fit in. Let me know what are the internationals that you would pick, because I think they've got a couple of really, really great players here. Look, Nadine de Klerk is somebody who can also bowl in all facets of the game. So that's another option she brings for you. She's a gun fielder as well. But the thing that I would like to know from you guys is which 4 internationals do you put into your side? But look, this team, I also watched them throughout the auction. I think they never made a bid of 1 crore. So they really had a really great strategy going into this. And I gotta say, also Grace Harris, I think they also got for a cheap price, loads of experience. If there's an injury, she's a fantastic player to bring in. Yeah, I'm very impressed with how they managed their auction. Next we go to Gigi. No, not Gautam Gambhir. Gujarat Giants. Look guys, I mean, Sophie Devine went for a lot of money. She's a gun player, you know, she's one of the leaders as well in this format, in white ball format. Kim Garth was an interesting one for me that she wasn't bought first up. They had to bring her back. I thought she was somebody that was going to go big. At the same time, Renuka Singh. I think Kranti Gaud as well, both of them going for 50 and 60 luck. I mean, I think both of them are worth a lot more. But if you look at the fact that they've got a Kim Garth and a Renuka Singh opening the bowling in the power play, you know, and a Beth Mooney, who's going to open the batting here for me with Beth Mooney? Because I feel like they're going to throw in Sophie Devine in the middle order. Then they also got a Georgia Wareham. Oh, they've got a Danny Wyatt as well. But again, where do you fit your 4 international players in? This was one of the hardest things for me during the mock auction, was about who are those 6 internationals going to be and where do you want to put them? Because for me, I wanted to have somebody at the top opening. I wanted to have a middle order batter. I wanted to have a fast bowler. And then, you know, I really wanted to have somebody like a Sophie Eccleston there as well. So interesting team for me. I'm going to have to say, I think RCB, with the amount of money that they had compared to what Gigi had, I think RCB did kind of better. I mean, let me know about this team. Who would be your 11? I'm not too familiar with a lot of these players, to be honest with you. This is a bit of an unfiltered version for me here in this YouTube video. But yeah, some pretty decent players, but could they have done better in the auction? So let me know your opinion here. Maybe I've got this completely wrong. But obviously then, you know, the likes of an Ash Gardner, who's probably going to be the captain. Let me know what you guys think of this one. This one is probably the one where I'm a little bit unsure. Then we get to UP Warriors, you know, 14.5 crores. I thought they did really well to get Deepti Sharma. I think we could have all predicted that Deepti was going to be the big buy of the day. 3.2 crores. Worth it? Yeah, I think so. She was fantastic in the World Cup. She was the player of the World Cup, you know. I wonder where she's going to bat. Number 4, number 5, you know, Phoebe Litchfield was probably the reason they didn't go for Alyssa Healy, because I think they wanted the right-left combination. So then you've got the Meg Lanning and you've got C. So, I mean, they preferred Meg Lanning over Alyssa Healy, because I guess if you could have gotten Meg Lanning, which I think they ended up paying quite a little bit of a hefty price for, you probably could have gotten Alyssa Healy to open the batting with Phoebe Litchfield. That was one of the combinations I had in mind. I also thought it would be quite brilliant to have a Meg Lanning and a Phoebe Litchfield bat together. Meg is a big fan of Phoebe. But then the question was the wicket keeping. So now they said that they've got a wicket keeper. Who is that going to be? You guys need to let me know. They said that very early on in the auction, though. So some people were surmising, is it perhaps Phoebe herself? We're going to have to see about that. But Kranti Goud and then Shikapandi. Shikapandi going for 2.4 crores. A lot of people saying that's not worth it. I think it's going to look very worth it when you have that combination, the experience of a Shikapandi and a Kranti Goud opening the bowling for UP. It's a very exciting prospect. The two opening batters here and the opening bowling. Then they got the likes of a Deandra Dotton, right? She is just such a powerhouse player in batting and bowling. I mean, she's performed under high pressure situations, so it's going to be absolute gold to have her in the side. Harleen Dio, Kiran Navgire, am I saying that right? Please help me. A lot of talented Indian batters here. And look, a bit of a Chloe Tryon there, which is somebody, again, left arm spin. I don't think they're going to be able to get her in here, but like I said earlier on, all of the right-handed batters, Sophie Eccleston, Dipti Sharma, Chloe Tryon. Chloe Tryon does add that power game there at the back, but they're probably going to opt for a Deandra Dotton ahead of a Chloe Tryon. Guys, also the pitches, the matches are happening in January, so fresh pitches, how much of a part is spin going to play? That's the other question I want to know from you guys, but a very, very good side here. What are your thoughts on this team? And yeah, fantastic for them, I think, to get Sophie, who was, for me, very cheap. I mean, she's worth a lot more than, what was it, 85 luck. But to get Sophie, and if they budgeted 4 crore for Sophie and Dipti, I mean, they would have been absolutely over the moon. What are your thoughts on this team? Now we move to MI. Look, we all know MI strategy. It's to keep the core together with core. Okay, Harmanpreet Kaur, it was amazing to see her at the auction. Amanjot Kaur, one of the big players of the World Cup as well. For them, their strategy was very much to retain all of their great players and then to obviously get back Amelia Kerr. On the one hand, you've got Nat Sivabrunt and then you've got Amelia Kerr, both of them winning the caps. All right, so they were the two biggest players of the previous tournament. Shabnam Ismail, as a South African, I'm very happy to see her back. She's a force of nature. She's one of those players that I also feel like if she comes out of retirement tomorrow, she's in that T20 World Cup team for next year. She's a fantastic player. Rasheshwari Gaikwad. Now, I've heard quite a bit about her. Tell me a little bit more about her. But guys, you know, Nat Sivabrunt, Harmanpreet Kaur, Hayley Matthews. I mean, Hayley Matthews was also fantastic, a proper all-rounder. But it's the Indian talent here that I don't know all too much about. So I would like you guys to tell me a little bit more about these girls. But that's what MI does, you know. They get in these young players. They've got fantastic scouts and they turn them into absolute superstars. So exciting, I think, for some of these girls to be able to say to their families, oh my goodness, you know, I'm going to be playing for the Mumbai Indians. So let me know a little bit about some of these girls. I'm putting it all down to you. I give you guys the floor. But again, you know, it's MI. They're always going to be a strong contender. This is how they've done things. They're one of the most successful teams in the IPL, WPL. So yeah, give me your opinion on MI. And then finally, the Delhi Capitals. Look, I got to tell you, I think Sourav Ganguly, I thought he was absolutely amazing at that auction. He really went for things. He was really there to bid. You know, you could see they had a lot of strategies. They knew the kind of areas that they needed to plug. He was quite aggressive. He was very involved. So I really enjoyed watching him. And look, he reaped the rewards. Absolutely fantastic. Starting off with Laura Wolfart. If you want anybody to replace Meg Lanning, it's probably Laura Wolfart. Two very, very similar players, both fantastic leaders. But it seems that Laura is not going to be the captain of this side. What do you guys think of that? Let's ask that question first. But some of the buys, man, you know, from Laura Wolfart to Chanel Henry, okay? Absolutely fantastic players. Sri Charani, Sneh Rana. I mean, we're looking at some really, really big names here. And Pratika Ravo, that was the big question. It took a very long while for her to be sold, but it's because of the injury. I think I had her in my squad because sometimes you need to prepare for more than this tournament. You need to look at the future. Again, it's like a Marufa Akhtar, where it's one of those players you're going to want and you're going to want them now because you feel as though they could be going for a lot of money later on in a few years' time. I mean, Annabelle Sutherland, Marizon Cup, two of the best all-rounders in the world. Jemima Rodriguez, I hope they're going to be playing her at 3 now. Remember, there was a time where she wasn't playing 3, and for years I've said she should be playing 3, and so it's good that that's now what I think is going to happen. But also, somebody with not a too big of a purse, and they managed to get a lot of good players. And I do think, for me, this feels like a more balanced side than the one that they had before. Nikki Prasad is also there. What are you guys' thought on Delhi Capitals? I thought they did really well, and I think this feels very contender-like, this team. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on the entire auction as well?